Present all counsel, present jury, and also present. So I received another update, advisory. It's the same as I've gotten for the last few days. I looked outside. My window faces across the street, the city hall and stuff. I saw nothing. Not a thing. Yesterday and the day before it didn't start till lunchtime. So I don't know what to tell you, but I'm just passing on what what they tell me. But it looks good outside. It looks wet, but it looks good. Mr. Gibson, you're still under oath. People may continue.
Mr. Gibson, during the break, my partner and I asked you about the slides relating to the IDMSS Light app, starting at slide 62. Just so that there's no confusion, when you indicated on slide 63 a release for a specific version, October of 2017, there were prior versions. This just was happened to be a snapshot you took online of one particular version, correct?
Correct. This screenshot was taken in March of 2018. That was the actual date was on a previous slide. You'll see that the version highlighted for the release date is for version 3.49.001.
Okay. So the application was obviously there was a version of it that was available at the time of the murder, as we saw with respect to the defendant's connection to that app on January 23rd.
Correct.
All right. Thank you for clarifying. I think we left off. Okay. Yes. And as we see, again, in slide 67, there obviously was a version that was available all the way back on June 30th of 2016.
A version of the IDMSS Light app, yes.
Okay. Because this particular slide that you put together showed the connections through that application on device 119, correct?
Correct.
All right. What do we see here on slide 69, please?
This is from item 101. The Gmail, it's a email from Diane at rball1.com to Rob at oeg1.com.
So what does that tell us?
That there was an email on June 28th, 2016 at 2:41 p.m.
Okay.
California time. And the contents are going to be on the subsequent slide.
Okay. And on the next slide, what do we see here in slide 70? Looks like two documents, screenshots of two documents.
No, it's the same doc. It's just a continuation as you scroll down because you can't screenshot the entire email, so you have to do it in parts. This email was, it's part of an email chain, and you can see that there's on the screenshot that's in the foreground, you'll see temporary password and instructions for ActiveX, which it looks like this is like the pretense for the IDMSS app as you keep scrolling through the email, from my recollection.
So if we look at the top left, this appears to be an email that came from the defendant from her Hotmail account to Diane@arball1.com.
Yeah, so in the upper left corner, you'll see that calmati-mo@hotmail sent Diane@arball1.com forwarded the email on June 28th, 2016 at 1:32 p.m.
So she is forwarding the instructions relating to the DVR, as we discussed previously, that contains her user ID number, her password, and her IP address.
I don't know if that's her IP address. I'd have to. That's not going to be her. That's probably where. I don't know why the IP address is in there.
Okay.
That's probably for the publisher website.
Okay. Let's say it is her IP address. Would that again be forwarding her information for her system, including her unique identifiers, to this individual, Diane@arball?
Objection leading on next.
Overruled.
There's a user ID and password for that account. Actually, I had to read the fine print. If you read the fine print, after it says hello, you can watch your surveillance system remotely via Internet Explorer or Firefox. So actually reading it, if a person was able to enter that 104.181.138.147 on your web browser, it will take you to a website where if you enter that 111, or excuse me, user ID user, and then if you enter the password 111, you'll be able to access that live feed.
Okay. For the DVR system.
Correct. That's the instructions from the tech support. So there was a tech support email that was sent to the calmati-mo hotmail
Yes.
on June 28th, 1:37 a.m. California time, forwarding those instructions on how to access the system on that date.
Okay. And then the defendant went and forwarded that set of instructions on to this Diane@arball1.
Correct, at 1:32.
Okay. And what do we see on the next slide, which is slide 71?
These are as you can read, they're the iPhone instructions to live view the cameras, giving you the information to download those applications, the application for the IDMSS Light from the App Store, and then you can read, if you get the address for the domain, the 104, that's the IP address to access the feed.
Okay. To the home.
I don't know if it's to the home. It's instructions on how it's user account information for an IDMSS live feed on the app.
And then you found this on device 101 relating to Mr. Baker, correct?
Correct. This email was from 101.
Okay. And what do we see here in the next slide, 72?
That's just the end of the email from the tech support team for the application.
Okay. And what do we see here on slide 73 relating to unallocated space that we talked about previously?
So item 101 had the SD card inside of the phone. SD cards are typically used to store pictures and videos, expand your memory allocation for your device. And the SD card had videos and pictures that were still on the SD card but not overwritten.
So they had been deleted. However, you were still able to see them because they hadn't been overwritten.
I used the X-Ways forensic software to be able to view those pictures that were not allocated on the SD card.
Meaning they were deleted,
Yes.
as you've indicated on this slide.
Yes.
And this slide originally, although it's been now altered, contained numerous photos and videos of the defendant when she was naked, correct?
What do you mean by altered?
We removed the photos that you had originally on this slide.
Okay. Yeah, but this is a true and accurate representation of what I saw. So if you took photos out, that's fine. So what is the? Can you rephrase the question? Because I got
Sure.
stuck on that, and I needed to address that.
You you observed, and included, although we've now removed those, photos and videos of the defendant naked on the SD card from the unallocated deleted space.
Objection, relevance is negative.
I already ruled on this earlier. It's overruled.
Go ahead.
I don't remember if they were on the SD card or if they were on it. There were naked pictures of Mrs. Sementilli on the devices. Whether it was on this specific SD card, I can't remember.
Show you a document with a picture of that slide in a different format. Let me know if that refreshes your recollection.
Okay.
Does
Yes.
it?
Yes.
And were there, in fact, naked photos of the defendant and video on this particular SD card in the deleted space? And here's another picture.
Yes.
And in looking at those photos, were those photos that indicated in the data that you saw were taken on July 7th of 2016?
There's a timestamp for July 7th, 2016. There's also a picture for August 15th.
13?
Oh, I'm sorry. July 7th, 2016 and August 15th, 2016.
Thank you. So a couple different dates. July 7th, and the second one was what date, did you say?
It's August. It looks like it's August 15th, 2016, but it might also be June. It's hard. It's hard to tell.
Okay,
It
thank
might
you.
be June or August. I can't tell if it's a 6 or an 8.
I do have a magnifying glass. Will that help or no?
Apparently, yes.
Yeah, let's try it.
It's from the previous judge, who was an older guy.
I just got these, so. Yeah, it's August. It's August.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Showing you slide 74. Did that appear to be screenshots that you took of the defendant that were in the undeleted or on the allocated space? They had not yet been deleted, of her on the racquetball court.
These are pictures that are allocated or available for viewing on the device. And you can see that there's racquetball, and then the picture in the middle is in a racquetball court with individuals.
And again, you might need that there it is, magnifying glass. I'm going to need that too. Did those photos appear to indicate that they were taken October 10th of 2016?
It's November 11th. So if you look at the file
November
name,
11th. Is that 2016?
2016. So this particular Android naming nomenclature for pictures taken has the date and time embedded on the file name. So you can tell that the highlighted top file was taken on November 10th, 2016 at 18:57 and 44 seconds, UTC 0 without the, actually let me backtrack. I don't know if it's adjusted for local time or UTC.
Okay. If we look at the next slide, slide 75, what do we see here?
This is a call log for item 119 to item 121.
Okay. Is that continued on the next slide? 76?
Well, for the next slide, is this showing the next slide or?
Yeah. So here's 75. Here's slide 76.
Okay. Yes.
Same thing.
Continuation. Yes.
Yep. Slide 77, continuation.
Continuation.
Okay. Of communications between the defendant's device and Baker's device 121.
Correct.
And what is this that we see in slide 78?
This is a photograph or an image that is on item 119, and this device or this picture was taken on January 21st, 2017.
Okay. At 21:59 hours?
Yes, at 9:59 p.m. California time.
Okay. So now let's move on to the date of the homicide. If we start with slide 80, what do we see here?
This is a log entry for Viber from item 119
Okay.
for January 23rd, 2017.
At 7:21 in the morning?
Correct.
Okay. What is a log entry?
It can be it's just a record of app usage. This particular one, you'd have to look and see what it actually is
Okay.
to understand the details of what this log specifically is saying. But there is a log entry for that date and time.
Of usage of the Viber app.
Correct.
Okay. And what do we see in slide 81, please?
This is a wireless network connection for item 101 to the retired 99 Wi-Fi network.
So it shows that Baker's device 101 is connecting to his home Wi-Fi network.
There's an entry for January 23rd at 9:45 in the morning for
Okay.
his network.
And the next slide, 82, what do we see here?
This is a instant message from, or excuse me, it's an instant message on item 119 from Mr. Sementilli at 12:31 p.m. California time, where Mr. Sementilli sent the message, "Hi babe, just got home."
Okay. And looking at slide 83, what do we see here that you documented?
This is a text message from a contact named Bella, where they sent the message, "I'm getting lunch, how much is on my card?"
Okay. And that's at 12:37?
12:37 p.m. Correct.
All right. And the next slide, is that a continuation of this text string?
Yeah, yes.
That's at 12:39
Yes.
with an amount?
Yes, it's 17 and then the dollar sign.
Okay. Moving on to slide 85. What do we see here?
This is a chat message. These are text messages where Monica is sending a message on January 23rd at 12:46 p.m. We are on our way home, and then a follow-up message of did it get fixed, where she's messaging Mr. Sementilli.
Okay. Looking at the next slide, 86. What do we see here?
There's a 34-second outgoing call record to Mr. Sementilli.
Okay. Slide 87. Can you describe what we see here?
It's another entry for a wireless network for Mr. Baker's item 101 to his retired 99 Wi-Fi network.
So he's connecting back to his home Wi-Fi at that time at 1:07 in the afternoon.
1:07 p.m.
Okay. Next slide, slide 88. Is this another chat message?
This is from Mr. Baker's item 101 to Sean McCullum,
Okay.
also on January 23rd, 2017.
Does it look like is it an incoming message from Sean McCullum to Baker?
The one highlighted is coming from Sean, and then Mr. Baker responds with, yes, he is legit, and then the response from Sean is okay.
Okay. Slide 89. Can you tell us what we're seeing here?
It's another instant message where item 119 sends a message of text me after the interview and let me know when you're on your way. I'm making patina and corn for dinner.
Okay. Slide 90. Does there appear to be a response to the defendant's text to her daughter Bella?
Yes, she responds with the KK.
Okay. And that's at 1:53 p.m.?
Correct.
Okay. Slide 91. Is this a continuation or another text or an instant message from the defendant to Bella at 3:17?
Yes, where she responds with good luck, my love, and a heart.
Okay. And the next slide, slide 92, does that appear to be a response from Bella back to her mother at 3:18?
Yes.
Okay. And what do we see here on slide 93?
This screenshot was provided by LAPD, where it's labeled Mrs. Sementilli's leaving at 3:26.
Okay. And what do we see in slide 94?
That there was a outgoing call log entry at 3:37 p.m. To a contact entry, Jesse.
Okay. Slide 95. Is there a body or a text that the defendant sends to this individual, Jesse, at 3:40?
Yes, it's don't be late for babysitting.
Okay. And the next slide, 96, is there a response from Jessica at 3:41?
Yes, and the response is I won't, LOL.
Slide 97, what do we see here?
This is a log entry for that IDMSS application at 3:53 p.m.
Okay. And so this shows item 119 is connecting to the app at that particular time.
There's a log entry that was made at that time, once again, you'd have to actually look into that file to see what was actually happening for that specific log entry.
So if you were to look at the IDMS Light usage records, you might be able to determine that.
Jackson speculation.
What's the rule?
That's what you're talking about?
If you look at the source file, the data usage, the hyperlink underneath the source file, you'd have to look into that specific file and just see what information, where the Celebrite application is pulling this information from, and be able to authenticate like what is being relayed and what that timestamp means.
Okay. Looking at slide 98, what do we see here?
This is another screenshot that was provided by LAPD, where the two suspects were caught on camera at 4:32 p.m.
Okay. And the next slide, 99. What do we see here at 4:22 in the afternoon?
This is a call that was missed on item 119 at 4:22 p.m. From Bella.
Looking at the next slide, 100, does that look like the defendant calls Bella back at 4:24?
It doesn't look like it. There's an outgoing call where she calls Bella.
Okay. And the next slide, 101, what does this indicate?
There were two phone calls to Joseph Cohen on January 23rd at 4:27 and 4:28.
Joseph Cohen, OD, so a doctor of optometry, yes?
It might be I wish I was smart enough to know what OD means.
Okay. And that's at 4:27:13?
Where'd you get the 13?
Let me move to the next. There's two, I think if we look at this slide and this slide, does it appear that there are two phone calls going on? In other words, while the defendant is still on the phone with Bella, she's also on the other line with this particular location? This
Correct.
person?
Correct. They could have been simultaneous, like within the minute.
Okay.
You're not getting the seconds. I know that I parsed out the seconds, but for this particular slide, I didn't get down to the seconds.
Okay. And let's look at the next slide. Slide 102. Does this indicate the time that the defendant's call with Bella ends?
Yes.
Okay.
So, just for clarification, I remember actually going to the source file and looking at the actual entry for the timestamp to see the actual time when that call would have ended. So that way there's clarification as far as the actual seconds.
Okay.
Because you're not getting the seconds in the timestamp call logs.
And then if we look at the next slide, 103, does this then show the end of the call with Joseph Cohen, OD, at 4:28:10?
Correct.
Okay. Slide 104, what do we see here?
The second phone call ends at 4:28 and 51 seconds.
Okay. What do we see in slide 105, please?
That's a screenshot that was provided by LAPD. And from what I remember, the red circle is Mrs. Sementilli, and the timestamp is the target date and time.
Okay. 4:32 and 12 seconds, yes?
Correct.
Okay. Showing you slide 106. Let's move on to 107. What do we see here? Is this again another screenshot you received from LAPD?
Correct.
And what does it show?
The two individuals, the two suspects running toward the Sementilli home on the corner of Wells and Oakdale at 4:18:35.
Okay. Slide 108. What do we see here?
This is the Queen Victoria surveillance camera, January 23rd at 4:54:52, and it's labeled as Isabella returning home.
Okay. With a red Fiat in the photograph.
It's a red car.
Okay. Next slide, slide 109.
This is the surveillance camera at 5:03 and 30 seconds p.m. And it's labeled Mrs. Sementilli returning home.
Okay. Appears to be some type of a black truck.
Correct.
Slide 110. What do we see here?
There's a timestamp entry for the retired 99 wireless network at 5:09 p.m.
So Baker's phone 101 is connecting now back to his home network.
Correct.
Slide 111. What does this show?
This is a screenshot of the timeline that Physical Analyzer put various artifacts together, and this particular timeline is providing a snapshot between 5:22 p.m. California time and 8:13 p.m.
So, go ahead.
Yeah. So you'll see the first entries are various call logs where there's incoming and outgoing calls. The incoming calls were missed. There's no duration. There's a couple of outgoing calls, and then there's text messages that begin at 8:06, and they continue on.
Okay. So calls and messages between that time frame.
Correct.
Showing you slide 112. What do we see here? Does this appear to be another text message exchange?
This is another text message exchange between Sean McCollum and item 101.
Okay. And does this start at looks like maybe 5:19 p.m.?
Correct.
All right. And discussing something to do with the racquetball league?
Whatever the C sheet tonight is referring to is what the message is. I don't know what that would refer to.
Okay, so the defendant is telling Sean McCullum to look at some kind of a sheet.
No, Sean sent that message. Mr. Baker's item 101 responded with okay.
Okay. And then there's another response back?
Correct. Sean sends the message of any idea how I can court or how I can get a court on Wednesday.
How I can what?
How I can get a court on Wednesdays at
Got it.
4:30.
Okay. And this is on January 23rd, correct?
Correct.
Between 5:19 and 7:37 p.m.?
Objection, Ms. Say time.
Sorry, it's overruled.
The timestamps are 5:19 p.m. California time, and the response is at 5:51 p.m.
Okay. Let's look at the next slide. Slide 113. What does this show?
This is a conversation that was done on the Hangouts between Sean McCollum and item 101. Between 7:37 p.m. and going to the 24th of January at 2:44 p.m.
Okay. And this is a conversation on the 24th where Baker says he'll be figuring it out tonight. Correct?
Correct.
Looking at the next slide, is this a continuation of the messages from January 24th, now taking us from 2:44 in the afternoon to 2:49 p.m.,
Correct.
where Baker's indicating he has the flu?
Correct.
Okay. And in this message, does he mention anything with respect to the murder of Fabio Sementilli?
at 2:48 on the 24th and January 24th, Mr. Baker sends the message, then word of Monica husband, bid num since.
Okay. Let's look at the next slide, 115. What do we see here?
This is a picture that was on Mrs. Sementilli's phone that was taken on January 25th at 9:52.
In the morning?
Yeah, sorry, 9:52 in the morning.
Thank you. And then the next slide, 116, you indicated the defendant and Baker immediately stopped using the Viber app after the homicide and began using WhatsApp.
Correct.
What do we see here on the next slide, 117?
The screenshot on the left is a chat thread between Christopher Austin and Mr. Baker.
Okay.
Facebook Messenger application.
Facebook Messenger app?
Correct.
And what is the message?
Well, there's three. The first message from Christopher Austin is "My bad, UNC," and then it's not even a word. It's MR vocal C1 sir. And then there's a response of "Download WhatsApp on your phone," and then another message 4 months later where Mr. Baker sends "You good."
Okay. And the message from Baker to Austin to download WhatsApp, what's the date of that text message or Facebook message? Excuse me.
January 26, 2017, 2:04 a.m. California time.
Okay. And does the contact here contain details relative to Chris Austin's cell phone under participant on the left screen, side
Yes.
of the screen?
Yes, it's the phone number is 505-977-7435.
And if we look to the contacts on the right side of the screen, does it appear that Chris Austin is saved as a contact with mobile and home phone numbers as well as an address in Baker's item 101?
Yes.
Okay. Showing you Exhibit 118. Can you tell us what we're looking at here?
It's a screenshot of the previous chat message that we saw on the previous slide, just highlighting the date and time that message was sent, regarding the download WhatsApp, and then a screenshot of Chris Austin's contact entry on 101.
Okay. And looking at 119, slide 119, what does this indicate between the defendant's device 119 and Baker's device 121?
This is a call log from item 119 to item 121 between January 27th, 2017 and June 8th, 2017.
What do we see in the next slide, 120? Continuation of the same?
Continuation between June 8th and June 10th, 2017.
And slide 121?
These are call logs between item 119 and 121 between June 10th and June 13th.
And slide 122?
It's the same June 13th through the 14th.
does this indicate, again, that they are communicating via another third-party app, this time WhatsApp?
Correct. These are WhatsApp call logs registered from the WhatsApp application.
And when we see WhatsApp in certain columns under source versus WhatsApp audio, can you explain the distinction for us? If there is any.
Well, there is. So if you look at the date and timestamps, you're actually getting 2 entries per call. Oh, go back. So if you look at the timestamp, you're going to see the same timestamps. For example, the top 2 rows at 1309, that's the same phone call. It's just probably it's 2 entries for the same call, and the physical analyzer is representing both call entries, one through the WhatsApp audio and then WhatsApp. So it's parsing the same information twice, or it's parsing the same phone call twice.
Okay.
So don't confuse that there's like 20 rows. It's not 20 calls, it's 10 calls.
Okay.
You have to look at the timestamps. So it's just different way, or it's just been parsed twice by the software.
Okay. Thank you. Showing you, I think this is slide 123. What do we see here?
This is a call log screenshot from item 119, filtered for item 101 on April 23rd, 2017 through June 2nd, 2017. And in that time frame, there was one text message sent on the 25th, 2017 at 5:55 p.m. California time.
And in terms of the call log, how the defendant has this phone number for 101 that ends in 2325, she has the name Al next to it that we see in red that you've captured, correct?
Correct. The contact entry for item 101 is Al.
Okay. Looking at slide 124, can you tell us what you've captured here?
These are calendar entries from item 121 from June 26, 2017. Or, excuse me, this is descending order, so it's April 12th, 2017 through June 26th, 2017.
Okay. And in terms of what's captured here, does it show various flights to different locations, such as Los Angeles, Vancouver, Las Vegas, and flight to Burbank, Portland, things of that nature?
Yes.
Okay. And with respect to May 3rd, 2017 through May 5th of 2017, does this calendar show flights going to Las Vegas and then back to LA?
From May 3rd to the 5th.
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. What do we see here in slide 125?
This is calendar entries from item 82, with various flights. It logged in the calendar entries.
And do we see for the same dates we just talked about on the previous slide relating to 121, the same dates, May 3rd to May 5th, a flight going to Las Vegas and then returning to Los Angeles in the same time period?
Correct.
showing you the next slide, 126. What did you capture here?
This is it's a picture that is on Mrs. Sementilli's phone. This was in a text message thread.
Okay. Looks like to the right it's a text message thread, and it has a photograph of a airline reservation through Air Canada.
You don't see a picture of the chat thread. I can just tell that it's from a chat thread based on the locate. If you look at the path of the file where it's stored, you'll see the SMS attachments. So I know that it's part of a chat thread. So it's part of a chat thread. The picture itself is a Air Canada booking confirmation picture.
LAX to Toronto.
Yes.
The next slide, 128.
Yeah, this is
Sorry, 127.
Yeah, this is a closer version of the previous picture where you can see the actual flight information.
Okay. And looking at 128, what do we see here?
This is another picture that is on Mrs. Sementilli's phone. That was also part of a chat thread.
This looks like to be a photograph for the Venetian in Las Vegas, a cash-out voucher for gambling for $268.
Yes.
And captured date and time, March 23rd of 2017 at 21:53 hours.
Correct.
Okay. And what do we see in the next slide where you have two photographs?
Yeah, there's two more pictures that were on Mrs. Sementilli's phone, captured on March 25th, 2017 and March 26th, 2017.
And to look at that, you're looking at the location where it says metadata, correct?
Correct.
Okay. And that's what tells you what time the photograph is taken, as well as the date, correct?
Yes.
The one on the left, March 25th, 2017 at 22:11 hours, so that would be what, 10:11 p.m.?
Yes.
And the one on the right, March 26th of 2017 at 1:15 in the morning.
Correct.
Looking at the next slide, 130, again, it looks like there's two photographs here. What are we looking at here, please?
This is another picture that's on Mrs. Sementilli's phone of a flight information from Los Angeles to LAS airport.
On April 12th of 2017, looks like to Toronto flying business class.
It's April 23rd, 2017.
April 23rd, okay. Thank you. Slide 111, again, two photographs. Can you describe what we're seeing here?
This is an email that is on.
I'm sorry. Let me correct the record. Sorry to interrupt you. It's 131. Slide 131.
This is an email from item number 82. It's an email from Air Canada to the Kalmati Mo Hotmail address, and it's for Monica and Jessica from LA to Toronto.
Okay. The one just before, slide 130. Okay, that's the one for April 23rd, and then 131 relating to travel on
The departure date is scheduled for April 12th, 2017.
Okay.
It's on the third line. in the body.
I see. Thank you. Next slide. With a photograph, actually it looks like, yes, a photograph in the defendant's device 119. What is this?
This is a picture captured May 3rd, 2017, 11:21 in the morning, and it's a picture of Mr. Baker and Mr. Birdsong.
Al Birdsong, correct?
Yes.
So this would be during that same time period that we looked at on prior slides where both the defendant and Baker were in Las Vegas, correct?
Objection, facts not evidence.
Overrule.
The picture is May 3rd, 2017
Yes.
at 11:21 in the morning.
Okay. That would be the same time period that we previously looked at between the defendant's device and Baker's device, May 3rd to May 5th of 2017 when they're in
Correct.
Las Vegas, correct?
Correct.
Looking at the next photograph or the next slide from the defendant's device 119, what did you capture here?
This is a picture that was taken on May 3rd, 2017 at 11:54 of Mrs. Sementilli, Mr. Baker, and Mr. Birdsong.
And what did you capture here in slide 134?
This is a image that's also on Mrs. Sementilli's phone that was captured on May 3rd, 2017 at 9:01 p.m.
Okay. And in the next slide, 135, same thing?
It's the same thing. It's a picture that resides on her phone.
Okay. And looking at slide 136, what is this?
This is a picture that resides on the phone at this was captured at May 3rd, 2017 at 8:26 p.m. And this one has location data, which puts the location north of East Flamingo Road in Las Vegas.
Looking at slide 137, what do we see here?
This is another picture. It's captured at 8:26. It's just the picture that resides on Mrs. Sementilli's phone.
The photograph that includes the defendant, Baker, and Mr. Birdsong in the back as well as others.
Yes.
Looking at slide 138, what did you capture here from defendant's phone?
It's a picture that was taken at 7:04 p.m. on May 3rd, 2017.
This appears to be a picture of Mr. Baker and some kind of belly dancer.
Correct.
Okay. Slide 139.
This is an email from item 82 to Monica Sementilli at Hotmail and Bernard Priceman.
Okay.
And just looking at it's might be a little confusing because it's based on the context of the body. It says I'm gone the 26th and 31st, so this might be Celebrate Physical Analyzer not misinterpreting, but placing those emails in the wrong location. So if you notice that there's no from or to, so this would trying to read the other data.
This is
Yeah.
the defendant basically saying she's going to be gone the 26th to the 31st, correct?
Correct.
And she's referring to May because after that sentence she says, then gone again June 9th to the 13th, Monica Sementilli, correct?
Well, yes, that's the body of the message. I was just trying to clarify the front too,
Okay.
because it's a little confusing.
Slide 140, 2 photographs. What do we see here?
This is a screenshot of an itinerary regarding a Toronto to New York flight. And it's timestamped May 12th, 2017.
Looking at slide 141, it's titled Web History. What does this indicate?
This is web history entries for item 82 for June 7th, 2017, 1:23 p.m. through 1:37 p.m.
And what do we see in terms of what the defendant is researching based on her web history on her tablet, item 82?
The web page titles.
Yes.
So in the browser, the web page titles themselves. The one that's highlighted is, do the police have the right to tap my telephone? It's from FindLaw. And then 6 cell phone tap signs, and then a continuation of various cell phone tapping by police.
Okay. So she's querying, researching on, through her web browser, these different subjects.
There are Chrome entries for web pages titled cell phone being tapped by police, and the theme being tapped.
And the bottom one being the police can't read your messages, but here's what they can see.
Correct.
Okay. Looking at slide 142. What is this?
This is a picture that's on Mrs. Sementilli's phone with the timestamp of June 7th, 2017, 2:21 p.m.
Okay. Appears to be to the right a screenshot she took of an email from a Jean Parshall.
The picture itself is a picture that was sent in a chat thread. Once again, it's in the SMS folder for the attachments. So the picture was sent in communication, and it is for email correspondence between Jean Parshall and Monica.
Okay. And that's Detective Parshall's information with the LAPD that we see there on the right at the bottom of the email?
Correct. It's in the lower left corner of the email.
Okay. And what do we see on the next slide, please?
This is actually it's labeled as email, but it's once again, this is software interpretation. Physical Analyzer classified it as email, but it's a recent contact. So Jean Parshall email address of what I'm assuming is badge number 30601 at lapd.online.
Okay. And the next slide, what do we see here?
This is a reference to a deleted MMS message. With the attachment, you'll see the image _9926.jpg.
So is that a screenshot or a photograph that was taken of the message from Detective Parshall that was later sent as an attachment and then deleted?
Correct. So, yes.
Showing you slide 145. What did you capture here with these two photos?
It's another picture from Mrs. Sementilli's phone of a trim confirmation and receipt from LAX to JFK, New York Kennedy Airport.
Slide 146 from the tablet.
Correct. It's it's an email from American Airlines regarding the flight from LAX to JFK.
Okay. For June 9th. Looking at slide 147.
This is another email that's stored on number 82, or item number 82. Once again, the software's, it's an email from Monica to Jean Parshall acknowledging that she'll be home Tuesday night, and email records.
And that's a date of June 9th?
June 9th, 2017.
Take our lunch and recess until 1:30. If you have any supplies, not discuss this case among yourselves or